Peace and love, families. The Prince of Pan-Africanism. I'm back. Inadvertently ended the previous live feed prematurely. So I'm here at the Atlanta airport. We're about to depart soon for Tokyo, Japan. So we're about to get up out of here. So make sure y'all keep me in your prayers for a safe return. Brooklyn, New York. I will see you soon when I get back. Shout out to Brooklyn, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, East New York. Shout out to Brooklyn, all of New York City. Can't wait to see y'all June 2nd. Make sure you get your tickets. drumarjohnson.com, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. If you go on the cell phone site, you want to click on Who is Dr. Umar Johnson, or click on Services, scroll all the way to the bottom, and the Eventbrite link is at the bottom if you're using a cell phone site. So, as I was saying earlier, this whole Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court desegregation move was nothing but a curse. Nothing but a curse for black boys. And what you also need to understand, is when they desegregated the schools, they did not desegregate the teachers. They did not desegregate the teachers. So the black teachers that were working with our children in the segregated black schools did not go with them when they were forcibly integrated into the public schools. You understand? So the teachers were left where they were, okay? The black teachers were denied integration. They did not bring the black teachers into the white public schools when they brought our babies into the white public schools. See, this was a takeover. This wasn't true integration. It was about taking the black children and subjecting them to psychological terrorism. Because I'm going to be honest with you, that's what your child receives when they go to school. They don't get an education. They are subject to white teacher trauma, aka psychological terrorism. White teacher trauma, aka psychological terrorism. Do you understand? So if they would have brought the black teachers with the black children, that would have been better, because now the child had someone who sincerely and genuinely cared about them. See, one thing we fail to realize is that both of the largest teacher unions in America, the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association, both opposed school desegregation. I'm going to say it again. Do your research. The American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association both opposed school desegregation. So when the black children were bused into the white public school, the teachers who were responsible for giving them the instruction were actually fighting against their inclusion. So isn't it interesting that the same person who tried to stop me from coming into the school is now responsible for teaching me? The same person who tried to fight to keep us out of the white school is now responsible for teaching our children. Even today, I believe it's 95% of white teachers in public school do not send their children to those public schools. 95% of white teachers in public school don't send their children to public school for two reasons. Number one, they know they're not going to learn nothing because they know they don't teach. They know they're not going to learn nothing because they know they don't teach. And the second reason why their children don't go there is because of white racism and white privilege. Okay? White children have to always appear more intelligent than African children. So because the white children have to always appear more intelligent than the African children, they don't let them mix. Because if you let them mix, the so-called superiority complex might become an inferiority complex. See, when black children are given an equal opportunity with equal treatment and equal resources, they excel any other child. They excel any other child. Read Amos Wilson's Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. Read it, where he found studies done by white folks that showed African children were more intelligent. So they don't want their white kids mixing with black kids because they think their white kids are better. Isn't it interesting that the same person teaching your child thinks their child is better than your child? The same person teaching your child thinks that their child is better than your child. Okay? Got the passport ready. Okay. But anyway, family. Anyway. So they didn't bring our teachers over. So a lot of black teachers lost their jobs. A lot of good black teachers lost their jobs. Okay? They were not interested in bringing the black teacher into the white public school. They were only interested in bringing black children in. Now, let me go a little bit further on this. You need to read the opinions of the Supreme Court justices who sat on the bench when the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision was handed down. You need to read the opinions of the justices. There was one justice whose name escapes me. I found his opinion in an old book on education. You got to read it. And he said the reason he voted for school desegregation wasn't because he wanted black kids to be taught with white kids. He said, I did not vote because I wanted school integration. The reason that I voted to end school desegregation is because I believe we can achieve our goals more effectively having direct supervision over black children. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? One of the Supreme Court justices, his rationale for desegregating the schools is so that white folks could keep a better eye on the progress that black children were making. They desegregated the schools so they could control the intellectual insurrection of the African learner. That's why they desegregated the schools. It was about oversight. It was about COINTELPRO. School desegregation was a COINTELPRO operation. School desegregation was a COINTELPRO operation. School desegregation was about making sure the black children were not learning more and learning better and learning subjects that they were not exposing the white children to. So y'all need to understand something. Y'all need to understand something. Half of what America uses, key inventions, comes out of the mind of African people, including this cell phone, including this internet. Those are African inventions. See, we invented the gas mask, the walkie-talkie, the filament light. We invented these things before we went to school with white kids. So white folks was becoming insecure. They were becoming very worried that African children were inventing things in these so-called underfunded, under-resourced, segregated black one-room schoolhouses. We were inventing things that white children were not even thinking about yet. We were inventing things that white children were not even thinking about yet. That's why they desegregated the school, to control the progress and direction of black intelligence. That's why. See, the black schools taught black kids how to think. See, you don't invent walkie-talkies and gas masks and stoplights. You don't invent self-lubricating engines. You don't invent the shocks on a car. You don't invent eye medications. You don't invent those things when you're not taught how to think. Inventions come from a mind that is taught how to think. Okay? Inventions come from minds that are taught how to think. Our children are not taught how to think no more. So what you get in a school where children are not taught how to think, you get regurgitation. Everyone's a robot. You're taught to worship other people's ideas. Public school is a religion. Public school is a religion. Public school operates just like the church. They are both religions. What do you mean, Dr. Johnson? I'll tell you. When you go to church, what do? You get a Bible, you sit down, the preacher tells you the truth of God, even though he never met God. The preacher tells you this is the truth of God. And you're taught to do what? Accept what he said as a fact. Public school is the same way. You walk into the classroom and you're taught Christopher Columbus discovered America. You're taught that white people are the greatest things God ever created. You're not taught how to criticize that. You're not taught how to analyze that. You're not taught how to critique that. You're taught what to think. In essence, you're taught what to worship. Western education is worship of European culture. Western education is a worship of European culture. And then you go to college and they fine-tune your worship. So you worship everybody in high school, but now we're going to teach you how to just worship the economists, or just worship the historians, or just worship the psychologists, or just worship the medical doctor. It's worship. You can't get no independent thought when you're being taught that what you're being learned is the absolute gospel truth. It's not the gospel truth. Isn't it ironic that America has all these experts and hasn't solved a single problem? Isn't it ironic that America has all these experts, but it hasn't solved a single problem? We have all these psychologists, but everyone's going crazy. We have all these economists, but everybody's broke. We have all these medical doctors. We have all of these medical doctors, but everybody's still sick. We have all these criminologists, but people keep going to jail. We have all these social workers, but people still not getting their needs met. How can you have so many PhDs, PsyDs, JDs, MDs, and you ain't solved no problem? I'ma tell you why. Because American education does not produce original thought. American education is about the worship of classical ideas. So nobody's inventing new stuff. You get inventions, but you don't get the inventions you used to get, even from white folks. White people did a better job coming up with inventions because they were taught how to think back in the day. School was not as centralized as it was now. School was not as propagandized as it is now. School was not originally conceived to fulfill the functions of government. School was not originally conceived to fulfill the functions of government. So children still had a free mind. You don't have no free mind today. Public school is a religion. It's a religion. You're not taught to critique who they teach you about. You're not taught to critique whether or not Columbus discovered America. You're not taught to critique whether or not Thomas Jefferson really wrote the Declaration of Independence. No. No. Okay? I have 4 degrees in psychology, 4. And never once was I given a black psychologist in school, except from Dr. Rita Smith Waddell of Millersville University in the black psychology course. She's the only one. But the course was a specialized course in black psychology. They are teaching you to worship white thought, opinion, and culture. And that's why we have to build our own schools. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. Our children are stuck on stupid and are nothing more than the robots of European culture. Everything we suffer can only be remedied through education. You can teach courage through education. Yes, you're going to have to teach loyalty to education. You're going to have to teach black power through education. It's the school that's most important. And we're going to have to get our children away from the parents because many of our parents are toxic. We have toxic parents. Toxic. A lot of our parents are no good for their children. Absolutely toxic. I've seen black mothers do nothing but destroy the self-esteem of their black daughters. I've seen black fathers do nothing but destroy the masculinity of their black son. We got toxic parents. No books in the house, no dictionary, no thesaurus, no homework, no one-on-one time, no I love you, no hugs, no family night. Everybody for themselves, even in the house. Once a black child gets to be 10 years old, they pretty much on their own for the rest of their life. We got to do something about that. We got to do something about that. Brothers and sisters, the Black College and Consciousness Tour, that registration will be coming this week. I'll probably do it once I get to Tokyo, God willing. The Black College and Consciousness Tour. That registration is going to be coming soon. Make sure y'all donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Make sure you do that. All right. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Mail your check and money order to P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19132. Okay. Brooklyn, June 2nd. Detroit. I'm hoping to see a lot of y'all in Detroit for the 4th Regional National Independent Black Parent Association Training Conference. Y'all need to come to Detroit, especially the Midwestern states. But the conference is for all black people, and you don't have to be a parent. You don't have to be a parent. You do not have to be a parent. The conference is for all black people who want to make a difference in the lives of our children. So I'm hoping to see y'all all in Detroit, Michigan, June 9th and 10th, Friday and Saturday, from 9 to 6. Come and get that training and help us build the National Independent Black Parent Association. You can't keep sitting on your lazy asses, coming to lectures, getting information, but you're not engaged in any struggle. That's the problem with the conscious community. Conscious community ain't engaged in no damn struggle. It's all hustle disguised as struggle. It's all hustle disguised as struggle. Okay, I'm about organization. Okay, so it's time for us to come together and organize. So come on out to Detroit, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm gonna see you Wednesday, June 14th. Minneapolis, Minnesota. So all my brothers and sisters down in that Pacific Northwest, I want to see y'all in Minneapolis, okay, on Wednesday, the 14th of June. All right. And then Seattle, Juneteenth lecture in Seattle. So we got Minneapolis in Seattle, Pacific Northwest. Well, Seattle ain't really Pacific Northwest. Excuse me, Minneapolis isn't really Pacific Northwest. Seattle is, but Minneapolis is more like Midwest. But Minneapolis is Wednesday the 14th, and Seattle is Saturday the 17th. And then I'll be in Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., for the Power Talk Conference. Washington, D.C., Carl Nelson. Make sure y'all go and support that. That's Friday and Saturday. Dr. Jeffrey Smalls, Patricia Newton, David Banner, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Claude Anderson, Dick Gregory is going to be honored. So that's Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday. I'm speaking on Saturday the 24th, okay, at the Metropolitan AME Church in Washington. All right. So get your tickets, Prince of Pan-Africanism.eventbrite.com, drumarjohnson.com. Make sure you order Psychoacademic Holocaust, the book of the century. Okay, make sure you get that, you know. So, yes, June 17th for Seattle. Get them tickets. Children 12 and under are free, and elders 65 and older are also free. Okay, family? So I'm pretty much going to ride out on that. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks, God willing. Tokyo, Japan. I'm going to try to do a live feed from there. First time in Asia, you know. As the Prince of Pan-Africanism, I got to take the good gospel of Garveyism to the four corners of the earth. I got to take the good gospel of Garveyism to the four corners of the earth. New Orleans, I'm working on you. Alabama, I'm working on you. South Carolina, I'm working on you. We trying to get it in. Okay? So one love, black family. Peace, and I'm out.